Difference between goal setting and goal writing. Okay? Having goals is great. That's half the battle. But they're not a true goal until they've been written, because your brain is connected to the thumb of your writing hand, and when you go through the reflection of your goals, you write them, it becomes a commitment to yourself. 3% of the population writes their goals. That's it. And the 3% of the population that have written goals contribute to 97% of the wealth. Staggering. People say, well, why don't more people write goals? What do you think is the number one reason people do not write their goals? Teams do not write their goals. Leaders do not write their goals. Fear of failure. It's a human disease. What is a fear? It's a future event appearing real you've created in your imagination as an excuse not to have a better future. It's pretty bold and loud, isn't it? A fear hasn't even happened yet. It's a future event appearing real we've created. Someone says, I'm afraid of heights. People don't tell me their fears because they know in the next day I'm going to help them face them. I had a team member that was terrified of elevators. And I said, I'll help you through this fear. She said, no, thank you. It's serving me to be afraid of elevators. I said, I guess it is. But what is it that is the true fear? She said, of being in that box closed in. I said, have you had a bad experience? Were you as a child had a trauma where you were locked in one for weeks on end or days or hours? No, I'm just afraid. I said, a future event appearing real is if you get in that box that moves up and down, something bad will happen. So I booked a team trip to Vegas, and I booked our dinner on the top of the Rio. Oh, was real happy. And she said, I am not getting on that elevator. I said, that would be your choice to walk 389 stairs to get your food. She said, you're not nice. I said, I love helping people overcome their future event appearing real that they've created as a result of not being able to get progress. What was the progress in that example? Come have dinner. It's free. Yeah. I'm paying. Yeah. Everyone you work with is already there because they went in that box and they're all live and kicking. I even called up. I said, is everyone breathing? Did we all get off the elevator? Yeah. She said, you're not nice. I said, that's a choice for you to see the way you see it. However, what did she end up doing? I said, I miss you already. You can go to McDonald's. But we're going to have a great meal at the top of the Rio when it spins. Yeah. So she got on it. She said, will you come with me? I said, would you like to experience overcoming this exhilaration of your fear alone, or would you like my support? She decided to go alone. Oh. So I go after her. We get up there, and she's glowing like a pregnant woman. And I said, look at you. She said, I hate you. I said, look at you. You faced a future event you created in your imagination, and we're all still alive. And I said, the good news is you get to do it again because you're not jumping off. She says, I don't know if I can eat thinking about going back down. I said, what's going to happen now is you're facing that fear isn't going to allow you to create any more imaginary events. And when we went back down, she went, wow. I said, I can't even imagine what went on in your life never getting in an elevator. She's 43 years old. Yeah, and you think, a lot of stairs, you don't take elevators, you might be fit and sexy. Right? It's a lot of limitations. Fear of failure. So people don't write their goals because they're afraid if they do, how will their self-esteem be if we don't reach them? But when you have a team come together and create the goals, we're all in it together, anything is possible. But it's not possible if you don't do it or you deny that a better future is out there. There's always going to be a better future when you focus on that. So the law of the lid, I challenge you to ask, what is your lid in your own individual leadership, regardless of your role, that you cannot get past? because that's where you're stuck, and it might be driven by fears, apathy. What's apathy? I call, you talk about the human emotions. I don't know if you knew this, there's 88 named human emotions, the exact same number of keys of a piano. Okay? And every one of them, you've got, which one's the high side of a piano? Music is not my thing. Which one's high? This side? Which one's the one that's, this is left is high?
No, right?
Sorry, okay. Can you tell? Yeah, music is not anywhere close to my unique ability. I don't need a lid on it, I just don't have a jar. Okay? So, bliss is on this side. Sorry, bliss is on this side. This is the high end, right? Nope, sorry, okay. Left is where your head makes an L. Thanks. Okay. You go from bliss to apathy. Apathy is lowest human emotion before dead. And what is apathy? I don't care, and I don't care that I don't care. What's in the middle is boredom. I'd rather you be bored because you don't care, but you care that you don't care. Yeah. See the difference there? So you think about it, every human is a what? It's a walking emotional array of a piano with 88 keys. And would you admit there's some people that come in banging the deep end, banging the dark keys. There's some people that come in with bliss, rose-colored glasses. Every day is so awesome. Yeah. There's people that come in and go, I'm bored. Yeah. This is really boring. I like when you're bored because there's nowhere to go but up on the piano. Apathy is the hardest thing to move them in their piano because it's a very fine line before here. Right? I don't care and I don't care that I don't care is a very dangerous place to be emotionally. There's a lot. Pharmaceuticals love it. Why? Right? Because you can take all kinds of things in medicine and pills to disrupt the apathy. Okay? They say 11% of the children in this country are diagnosed with some kind of disorder of alphabet soup initials, ADD, ADHD, OCD. You hear something new all the time. And are we going to change that? I don't think that's our hill to die on, but I think it's something that's a real aha. It's really, is it the ability to manage emotions? Is it really an IQ issue, an EQ issue, or an instinctual issue? I have 3 children. I don't know if I told you, one born every decade. I traveled a lot. And the third child is my correction child. She's choosing my nursing home. She was my 40th birthday present. Okay? You can tell by my facial expression I didn't talk for 6 weeks. People thought I was apathetically depressed and they did an intervention. And I said, there's nothing other than I am having a third born at 40. And they said, wow. So when I say she's my correction child, I joke with her. I say, you're walking to school, you're making your own lunch. You're going to learn what it means to have grit, and I'm not going to tell you everybody's great and give you a 36th place ribbon when there's 37 swimmers in the race. And she says, you're very competitive. She said, what if I aimed for second place? I go, great, that's just first to lose. She says, Mom, you can't talk like that with all the other parents. I said, just tell them you're third born, you're correction child. We're going to make sure that you can afford my nursing home. So this is why we build it this way. What does this have to do with anything? Is you deal with people in an emotional level. Everyone has a piano song they play. Would you agree? That's their story. Team, leader, patient, every human is playing their piano, daring you to dance to their music. Don't let your colleagues and these patients suck you dry because you're trying to change their genre. If I grew up in a trailer park and I don't like my mother and I want to yell it into a microphone for lots of millions of dollars, are you ever going to change that song? No, but I can learn to dance to it. Or You have someone you work with or a patient that comes in singing, "We're never, ever, 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 ever getting back together." Am I ever going to change Taylor Swift to find a husband? Not my hill to die on. However, what can I choose to do? I can fight the song. I can try to change it and make it who? You know what? You really should be happier, and men are really great when you're nice to them, and maybe da 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 da. You get people don't want to hear our song until what? We've let them play theirs. Stephen Covey said it decades ago in the Bible of dealing with people, and if you haven't read it, it's a great book. It's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And habit 5 says, the more I seek first to understand you, the faster you will trust me. What does this have to do with dentistry? Patients will never say yes to you in this country if they do not trust you. It's a huge, you could call it a Canadian thing, I don't know.
Not only here, it's everywhere.
It's human nature, but more so, think of what Canadians talk about all the time. I want them to hear me and be empathetic to my life. I want them to ask me questions about me before they show up and throw up the axial inclination of the pontification of your oral health and blah, 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 blah. You can see where, wow. Anything we do tomorrow is going to be better than today if all we do is sing at them all day long. And you know something? You go home less exhausted. Those of you who, do you ever go home into your personal life at night and you might kick the dog, you might dread the phone ringing if you even still have a landline, you can't even imagine dealing with another member of the human race. You're overstimulated by people during daylight hours. But a lot of it's because you're letting the people get to you. 60% of your hours are spent with you as the dental team in the workplace. 60% of your waking hours. Synergistic, engaged, high-performing teams are not built by accident. They're built with purpose, engagement, goals, and celebration, and tweaking what we need to focus on.